later date, and you may want to review like what you talked about with someone. I've done that before where I've been like, ooh, I had this great conversation, but I don't remember all of the details of this person. And I really wanted to remember like how many kids they had or something very specific to show that I acknowledged and respected the connection that we created. And so that was one of the reasons why we write it down. So why do you think it's important for a talk and walk, or why do you think I asked you to talk first about teaching philosophy? If we look at this in terms of observations, why would it be important to know others teaching philosophies?
Experience.
Experience?
Yeah.
For you or for understanding their experience? Which were you meaning?
To understand.
Both maybe.
Both. Okay, what did you say?
To find something in common.
Find something in, okay, yeah, sure. What else?
No, I mean just both. It is
And to
important
find
for us
addition-
just to share maybe our experience with others.
Okay, great. So
It's just,
in terms of,
again, just to find something in common.
okay, finding things in common and maybe also growing
Yeah.
because you're learning more.
Yes, we are learning more to find some additional information.
Okay, great. Anything
So
else?
to maintain the climate of mutual maybe safety and respect and support.
Okay, so by understanding how other people view their role as a teacher, it helps you to maintain this climate of support. Is that more or less what you meant? Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Anything else?
We like communication.
Uh-huh.
And just now we had a great opportunity to speak to each other.
Okay. All right.
Practice.
To practice.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's one way to practice. It's also a way to communicate with each other.
To compare.
To take notes, yeah, absolutely. The other reason that I think it's important to know about your ideas or your philosophy and teaching is that when we observe from our own backgrounds, our own experience, our own ideals, right? So when I'm observing, say if I come to your class and I'm observing you, it could be that I'm focusing on something that is important to me but not so important to her. Maybe she wants to focus on something else. So by being aware of what is important to other teachers, when you sit down to have an observation, either them observing you or you observing them, you make it a little more clear. You understand, oh, okay, so working on group work is very important for you. Right now I'm working on my transitions. So from one activity to another, I'm trying to make sure they're seamless. So if she was looking at me in terms of the group activities that I'm doing, but I'm really trying to work on my transitions and get feedback about my transitions, there's a disconnect there. Right? And so I might be frustrated with some of the feedback that I'm getting from her because she's focused on group work. So it is important to know the philosophy and to kind of figure out where the teacher is in that moment in terms of their understanding and expectation of what the observation will be. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, how do you see this activity happening for you in the classroom? Could you take this activity and use it in your classroom?
Yes.
Yeah? How? Like what would you need to do to adapt it?
Change questions.
Change the questions? Okay.
And this activity is good for first year students when they don't know each other.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic icebreaker. And you can have it done several times so they're meeting several different students. Okay, what else?
But the students are so smart that they can speak Russian or Ukrainian and not English.
No way.
Instructions, not expectations. Please speak.
Okay, but that's a good mention because that is possible. But I think that one of the things you might be able to do with that is creating the expectation in the class that it's English all the time. Everyone tries as much as they can. But also being flexible, like if you hear them speaking in Russian or Ukrainian, not to jump in. And it's getting to know you, so it would be okay if they spoke in another language, because they're trying to get to know. That's the purpose. The other thing that I might do with this activity is actually teach a subject matter and have them discuss elements of the subject matter, right? Or review for a test. You can have a talk and walk while they review for a test. I think this would be ideal because you have the whole kinesthetic part. You never get kinesthetic when we do test reviews, right? And so it would be fantastic to have them talking through certain things, walking at the same time, and it would be very interesting to see if their scores go up. Granted, they have to be reviewing properly the correct answers, but that would be really interesting. Okay, so just really quickly,